What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. I am here for a special announcement in our presidential race. Now, let me take off my glasses. Got my dark circles under my eyes. How y'all doing this Sunday morning? I want to give you this video right now because I got a lot of stuff to do today, and I think that you as viewers should be informed of what all happened yesterday. I'm going to start first with our Republican side, the GOPers. Just yesterday on Saturday, during the Republican Jewish Convention, presidential hopeful, former Vice President Mike Pence announced he was suspending his bid for the presidency, which means he's dropping out of the presidential race. I'm outside, y'all. You're going to hear the fan, you're going to hear the dog, you're going to hear birds, you're going to hear all that stuff. Y'all know how I go over here. He officially announced that he's dropping out of the race. So I got my notes today. I will be reading, so hopefully I can do this without having to look down a lot. So yesterday, Mike Pence suspended his campaign. The former VP announced on Saturday while attending the Republican Jewish Coalition Convention that after many prayers and deliberation, effective today, meaning yesterday, Saturday, that he suspended his campaign for presidency. Mike Pence, for me, although he seemed to be one of the most qualified candidates, was not very popular. He didn't have a popular personality, which translated over into the polls. He remained in like low digits, single digits mainly, in the ranking against all the other candidates that was up against him. He said that when he knew that this was going to be an uphill battle, and he regrets nothing, no actions that he has taken during this campaign. He announced his campaign back in June, so this has been like what month is this? October? 4-month run that he's had, up against many criticisms, basically because he seems so robotic in nature. But like I said, I believed he was one of the most qualified as far as already being a former VP and his political career as well. On top of that, he made his plea to his fellow GOPers for them to go back to their conservative values that the Republican Party was already about. And he said that he wants them to resist, let me make sure I quote it, what he calls the siren song of populism that has been spearheaded by Donald J. Trump. I added the spearheaded part, but he did make an implication towards the Republican Party that Donald Trump built. I like to call them the new sons of Jacob in reference to the Handmaid's Tale TV show. Y'all already know this. But he's the second Republican who's came out to speak against this new surgence of Republicans that are here. Mitt Romney, when he also decided that he was not going to do another run for office, made the same type of statements. We already know during the January 6th insurrection, the extremists from that support Trump were calling for Mike Pence to be unalived. I'm not going to say the other word on the channel. Unalived with a noose, okay? Fucking ridiculous, because he wouldn't help orchestrate this coup with Donald J. Trump. I really, 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 really hope that Mike Pence is a key witness against Trump to get him and his other co-conspirators locked up. I really pray for his safety. Okay. After his speech, the other presidential hopefuls also gave speeches as well. Donald Trump's speech did not mention Mike Pence at all. 25 minutes later, which he does when he does in court, he sits there and doesn't say anything, and then later gets in front of the media cameras and wants to make a point. 25 minutes later, he decided to give a statement that said that Mike Pence should endorse him as president, and I'm about to paraphrase here, because after all, he gave him a job. Okay, but he ain't expecting it to happen because, you know, these hoes ain't loyal. That's what he said in so many words. If y'all want me to quote exactly what he said. But people in politics can be very disloyal. Basically, he's talking about Mike Pence with the insurrection coup. If that whole little statement wasn't filled with subliminals, I don't know what it was. So that's why I broke it down for you. Okay, so then Governor DeSantis of Florida, he also gave a speech as well. He did not mention at all Mike Pence in his speech also. 2 hours later, he decided to give a statement to, of course, the media, and he said that he believes that Mike Pence is a man of faith who worked tirelessly to advance the conservative cause. Now, Nikki Haley, I do like her for her presidential run as well. She is one of my top people. If I was a Republican and was going to vote for Republican, she would be one of my top people. But Nikki Haley, she opened up her speech by praising Mike Pence, stating that he was a good man, he's a faithful man, a man of service, a man who has fought for America, who has fought for Israel, and we owe him a debt of gratitude. Presidential hopeful Tim Scott also spoke earlier in that day, before the campaign suspension was announced, but he did come out and make a statement saying that Mike Pence is a man of faith, a friend, a man with integrity and deep conviction, and the Republican Party is stronger because of Pence's leadership. Governor Christie also gave a speech and said that he is beyond grateful for what Vice President Pence has done for this country. He stood for the Constitution and deserves our thanks. Now, Mike Pence is the first front runner to drop out of the race following the CIA agent, Representative Will Hurt out of Texas. Is it Herb? Herb with a B. Mayor Francis Suarez from Miami, Florida businessman Perry Johnson, and radio host Larry Elder. They have all dropped out of the Republican race. I did not see that Vivek Ramaswamy attended the convention. There was no statements made from him that they noted, but they did note that Mike Pence did not endorse a single candidate that was running for office. Okay. On the Democratic side, let's go over there. We now have a new presidential candidate that's running for president. Minnesota's Democrat Dean Phillips announced his candidacy for president yesterday. It was said to have been rumored that he had been thinking about doing this. Same thing with Mike Pence. It was a rumor that was going around that he was going to drop out. It had been rumored that Dean Phillips was going to run for presidency. I did research him on what I found initially, that he was putting in his bid to run for the House of Representatives again. This would have been his fourth term if he would have ran in 2024. But now he's going to run for president of the United States. Dean Phillips, he's a 54-year-old white male out of Minnesota. He is a multi-millionaire gelato tycoon. He is worth $124 billion. He is one of the richest House of Representatives out there. I think he's in the top 4 of the richest representatives in the House. Okay, so he is the very first sitting politician to take a run for presidency against Joe Biden. I remember one of you guys had told me before, I can't remember who said it, but y'all posted in the comment section that usually when a sitting president is running for office, the party does not announce any competition against him or that person. The Democratic veterans are not happy with Dean Phillips' announcement for presidency. He's receiving a lot of criticism. They feel it's kind of late in the game, but he is announcing this ahead of the New Hampshire primaries. Even if he wins, he does not get any delegates. That's just based off of the state laws that they have there. So the other person that's running as a Democrat against Joe Biden is Marianne Williamson. I completely forgot all about her. she ain't made a peep, or at least the news media ain't covering anything that she's done or said on anything. I've completely forgot this woman was even running for doggone president on the Democratic side. She is not a sitting politician, which is why they're saying Dean Phillips is the first sitting politician. 1 second, let me let my dog out. Okay, so Dean Phillips has also said that he is not against Joe Biden. I shouldn't have let my dog out because the dog next door is out now, they're barking. Y'all just gonna hear the barking. Anywho, he said he's not against Joe Biden. He actually agrees with a lot of his policies, but what he is concerned about also, like they said, anywhere between 60 to 70% of Americans or Democrats, they're concerned about Joe Biden's age. He does not believe that Joe Biden will be able to make it through another presidency, which is why he says that him being a young 54-year-old man, it's his time to shine. It's his time to come out and bring new, fresh ideas to the table as well. What that says to me, in so many words, is they ain't got no faith in Kamala Harris. So even if Joe Biden won the presidency and he passes away during the presidency, is what most people are expecting him to do, Kamala Harris will step up and be the next president. They do not want that woman to be president at all. That's what that's telling me. Okay, they have no confidence that she'll be able to carry on the country in the event that Joe Biden don't make it through his term. And they don't want that black woman to be a damn president of the United States of America. I told you I'm not the biggest fan, but I mean, she has been the VP for the last, going on, for this presidential term. Okay, anywho, let's go back to Dean Phillips. Robert Kennedy Jr., let me tell you, he's not running as a Democrat, which I originally thought that's what he was going to do. I was like, ain't no damn Democrat. Robert Kennedy is a Republican with an independent title. That's what he is to me. If you look at his politics, they closely align to Republicans. I might have to bring my dog back in because they're whining too much. It's a girl dog over there, and he's a boy dog, and they pheromones at the raising. Give me a second again. Okay, he is not happy. Okay, so where was I at? But yeah, if you look at Robert Kennedy's his political platform, he's very close aligned to conservatives and a little push towards MAGA conservatives, in my opinion. But he's running as an independent. And then we still have Cornel West, who I completely forgot was running as well. Haven't seen much about him since he first announced it. He's also running as an independent. But like I said, Dean Phillips claims that he is not against Joe Biden. He loves him and respects him greatly. He agrees with his policy, but he's here to bring new ideas to old politics. Like I said, he thinks that Biden may be too old to continue a presidency if he wins, which is one of his motivations for running. Dean describes himself as an eternal optimist. I didn't read the article that he wrote about 3 years ago explaining what that meant. I'll do it later, and I'll come back and I'll explain to y'all what that means, because I don't know. It made no sense to me. Okay, so let me give you some little background on him. He was born Dean Benson Pfeiffer. He currently carries his stepfather's last name of Phillips because his father died in Vietnam in 1969 in a plane crash, and his stepfather adopted him, changing his last name to Phillips, okay? He, like I said, he was going to run for re-election in Minnesota in 2024, but is now running for president. I don't know what his presidential platform is, but I was able to find out what his congressional platform was, because that website is still up saying that he's still running for Congress or the House of Representatives. For his House of Representatives campaign, he was focused on investing in youth, education, healthcare, and anti-discrimination initiatives. That didn't tell me much at all, okay? So I was able to find another website when he ran for Congress last time, or ran for the House of Representatives last time, And it says on there that he didn't take money. He does not take money from PACs, special interest groups, federal lobbyists, and campaign. And he's very into campaign finance reform. That's priority for him. That sounds like the same, almost exact statement that President Barack Obama had said. It sounds like the same statement that, Lord Jesus, I can't remember the man's name. I'll come back to later when my memory gets together. It's early in the morning, child. Anyway, some of his policies listed on the platform that he was dealing with. He was, one of his priorities was women's health, reproductive freedom, and wage equality with women in the workplace. He is focusing on high quality, affordable health care for every American, not free, but high quality, but affordable. Public safety was a topic for him. No matter your race, your income, or your zip code that you live in, that was also a platform for him. Help lowering the cost of living of goods and services. Gun violence prevention was a priority. I wanted to specifically see what he's done in that area. I'll drop the link where I saw this information, and with each of these topics, there's a separate link to show what he's actually done in his job as a House of Representative in relation to these topics. So I looked up specifically the gun violence prevention because he listed that as a priority. He helped sign the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. He helped put together that act, which they are calling one of the most meaningful gun violence legislations in 30 years. He is a gun owner, but he's also a member of the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. He co-sponsored and voted for H.R. 8, which is a policy that enforces background checks for guns. H.R. 1808, which involved the assault weapons ban, and H.R. 7819, which was the Protecting Kids Act that also dealt with gun violence. He's an advocate for small businesses, making sure that they have can cut through some of the red tape to get growing, because he believed that small businesses are the cornerstone of economic growth here in America. He deals with immigration reform. He signed H.R. 6, which is the American Dream and Promise Act, which provides a path to citizenship for those of undocumented people who are already here in America. Now, he does want to increase border security with the streamlined process for those seeking to enter into the United States legally. Okay. What else? He also wants to focus on securing retirement plans, and this would include protecting Medicaid, Medicare, and caregiver support. He also is involved with diversity, equity, and inclusion, higher education and job training. I did a deep further look into that, which means he supports short-term debt relief for student loans for those of us with the greatest need. How they are determined whose need is greater than the next person's, I don't know. I gotta make me understand that. But this will also include first responders and teachers to get included in that debt relief. We already know we have the public service loan forgiveness program with the student loan department that the first responders and teachers and nurses, they are and civil employees already qualify for, well, can qualify for. So I'm not sure exactly what his platform is as far as adjusting that, because most of those waivers require that you be paying student loan for 25 years before you even qualify for it. I happened to get in under it when Joe Biden decided to do the waiver of the term limit, because I hadn't paid student loans for 25 years. I just graduated in 2015, but I still was able to qualify when Joe Biden had that waiver and got all my student loan debt waived. He's also invested in public schools, veterans, fiscal responsibility, climate action, and preserving natural resources. He thinks wholeheartedly that he is the Democrat that can beat Donald J. Trump, despite all the criticism he's getting from his own fellow Democrats. Like I said, Biden's poll numbers have been too damn close for comfort for me, in my opinion. I think one day he's 49% and Trump is 51%, and they switch back and forth depending on what poll you're looking at and who they polling. Because I ain't never been polled in my life. But it depends on who you're looking at, who they polling, who answer these polls, on where they get these poll numbers, you know. Poll numbers are not necessarily a direct reflection of the actual votes that happen during the election time. Because again, like I said, who the fuck they polling? How many people they polling? Are they polling just to a neighborhood? I don't know not a single black person that has ever been polled for an election in all my 32 years of voting. But anyway, I think that with Biden's open support for Israel, that has put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. I do not know what Dean Phillips' position is on Israel. I can assume it is in support of Israel as well, because again, they are the ones that are the ally to the United States. We know that Hamas has taken United States citizens as hostages, and they've been negotiating back and forth to get these hostages, which a lot of them have been released. But still, I'm not sure what his exact position is. Well, I haven't heard him vocalize what his position is in that war, or if he is going to vocalize one. But he's ready to hit the campaign trail. Biden has been dealing with a lot of issues with both wars, the Ukraine war, the Israel war. So he hasn't been on the campaign trail. Who was he campaigning against? Because like I said, I haven't seen Marianne do a damn thing. But he is expecting to go back on the trail within the next couple of months to start his campaign, especially now that he has opposition. Okay, so that is all I got for you today. I hope that you are thoroughly informed. I will drop the links that I was able to find about Dean Phillips, so you can go research and see what policies that he has helped legislate, and see if they align with your views, your values. If you were a Mike Pence supporter and now that he's dropped out the race, I will recommend that you go look at the other candidates more deeply as well to see who mostly align with your values and views. Again, out of all the Republicans, Nikki Haley would be my vote for real if I had to vote for somebody. Like when I'm listening to her as an independent, it's a lot of things that she says that make sense, or that I can see being a bipartisan issue that can cross different lines and work with different parties to help accomplish a common goal, or a goal that is most effective for most Americans. Again, on both sides, all sides, independents, Green Party, Democrats, Republicans, everybody has a little piece of the pie that makes a little bit of sense to me. I just align with whoever closely aligns with the things that I want in my life. That's how I determine my vote. But if nothing else, just remember to vote. If you aren't registered, you're 18, you're going to be able to vote during the next election. Vote. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and register to vote where you live. Don't try to vote by text, because remember, we already found out that voting by text is a fraud. You can go to your local DMV, you can go to your local election board, or you can go online to their actual websites and see what other options are available for you as far as registering to vote. But I know when you go to the DMV, because that's how I did it here in Florida. When I got my driver's license here, I registered, and when my daughter renewed her license, they checked her registration again to make sure, yeah, we registered her child. We registered. And don't just vote in the presidential election. Vote in these freaking primaries, and vote in these local elections around town as well. I'm so disappointed with the representation that we have here in Florida. Makes me sad sometimes that I moved here to this state. But Missouri ain't no fucking better, let me tell you. All right, y'all. This has been, I'm going to call this a PNTV Sunday update. Y'all have a good one. See you in the next video. Peace.